It's Season 4, Episode 4 of the TV series From, and the mysterious man in yellow is now openly manipulating people as part of a much larger and darker plan. The town appears to be falling back into the same horrifying cycle that Victor once witnessed as a child, and the brutal massacre from the past now feels closer than ever. This episode answered several questions while also setting up an unsettling direction for the rest of the season. What was the meaning behind Boyd's ring? Why was Sarah being tested? What exactly did Julie witness? And what emerged from the water at the end? Let's break down the biggest moments from Season 4 Episode 4 and explain the ending. Spoilers ahead. The man in yellow's manipulation. After Sophia moved in with Sarah in the previous episode, this chapter focused heavily on the hidden agenda of the man in yellow and the role he wants Sarah to play in it. Throughout the episode, Sophia's sudden personality changes hinted that maintaining this disguise takes effort, almost as if the man in yellow is constantly forcing himself to stay in character. One moment he appeared calm and human, and the next he slipped back into something far more sinister. When Sarah began hearing voices again, it became clear that the man in yellow was responsible for them all along. That reveal strongly suggested he may be the true power controlling the town. Sophia even referenced a higher power earlier in the episode, which now feels far more meaningful considering how much awareness the entity seems to possess. The voices instructed Sarah to perform a meaningless task involving water from the diner. She was told that if she refused, something terrible would happen. Sarah resisted at first because she finally felt accepted by the people in town again and didn't want to fall back into her old behavior. But after she ignored the command, Sophia deliberately injured herself, proving that the man in yellow was watching the situation unfold the entire time. Terrified, Sarah returned to complete the task, and that was exactly what the man in yellow wanted. The act itself was never important. What mattered was proving that Sarah would still obey the voices if pushed hard enough. It felt similar to a loyalty test, showing that she could eventually be manipulated into doing far worse things later on. This moment strongly hinted that the town's violent cycle may soon repeat itself. With the boy in white warning Tabitha that time is running out, it seems likely another massacre is approaching, and Sarah may unknowingly become part of it. Julie and the story walking. Julie's storyline continued exploring her ability to move through different points in the town's history. Inspired by the book Adventures of the Grand Guillaume, she experimented with the idea of leaving bookmarks across time periods. Her plan was to leave marked symbols behind so she could later return to those exact moments. Although her first attempt appeared to fail, there's a strong possibility that it actually worked and Julie simply doesn't understand the rules yet. The symbols may act like hidden keys connected to specific timelines, and eventually she'll learn how to revisit them intentionally. Unfortunately, Julie ended up traveling to one of the darkest moments imaginable, the aftermath of the massacre Victor survived as a child. She witnessed the man in yellow feeding on the townspeople, covered in blood and looking far more monstrous than before. His pale appearance and emotionless stare made him feel terrifyingly inhuman. What stood out most was his reaction after noticing Julie. For the first time, he seemed genuinely alarmed. That moment suggests Julie's growing understanding of time travel could threaten him in ways we don't yet fully understand. This sequence also added deeper emotional context to Victor's trauma. He didn't just witness death when he was young, he saw the man in yellow devouring people, including his own mother. That horrifying memory explains why Victor reacts with such fear whenever the yellow jacket appears. Victor also revealed that the man in yellow originally arrived in town pretending to be normal before eventually revealing his true nature. That detail mirrors what's currently happening with Sophia, further proving the town's history is repeating itself again. Fatima and the golem. The episode also finally explained why Fatima had Elgin gathering dirt. She was building a golem-like figure as a symbol of protection and hope. After carrying the reborn version of Smiley, Fatima still feels psychologically connected to the monsters, almost as if they can sense her fear and feed off it. Creating the statue was her attempt to fight back emotionally and reclaim some sense of security. Whether the figure will actually possess protective abilities remains unclear, but the symbolism behind it was important for her character. One thing that still feels strange, though, is how casually Elgin is functioning after suffering such a brutal injury earlier in the season. Considering how limited the town's medical supplies are, his recovery feels surprisingly quick. Boyd's mental state. Boyd's psychological condition continues deteriorating. After the disturbing experience at Abby's grave in the previous episode, he's clearly trying to hide how badly the town is affecting him. This season seems focused on pushing Boyd to his emotional limits and forcing him to confront both his fears and his past mistakes. A major moment came when Boyd discovered a ring engraved with an infinity symbol. The symbol obviously represents eternal love, but within the context of the town it also resembles the endless loop the residents seem trapped inside. When Boyd later found another identical ring, the scene became deeply unsettling. One ring vanished from the box while the other appeared in his hand, almost as if reality itself had shifted around him. Whether Boyd is losing his mind or the town is intentionally manipulating him remains unclear. The ring may also connect to the idea that certain souls continuously return to Fromville throughout different cycles. If Abby is somehow trapped within the town's repeating history, then the visions Boyd is experiencing could be attempts to communicate with him. What emerged from the water? Near the end of the episode, Tabitha, Donna, and Ethan searched for what they believed could be the Lake of Tears. Meanwhile, other townspeople uncovered a buried rope that released a hidden net filled with mannequins and dolls submerged underwater. The purpose of these figures remains mysterious. They may have once been used as protective symbols or emotional substitutes during periods when the town became empty. Another possibility is that the creatures buried them deliberately to erase their importance. Whatever the explanation, the reveal added another deeply unsettling mystery to the growing mythology of the show and left plenty to think about before the next episode. Final thoughts. Overall, episode 4 felt like a strong continuation of the season. The pacing balanced mystery and progression well, while Julie's time travel storyline continues to be one of the most interesting aspects of the series right now. Her encounter with the man in yellow finally showed just how terrifying he truly is. Sophia also stood out throughout the episode. The performance captured both vulnerability and menace perfectly, especially during the moments where the man in yellow's true personality slipped through. Boyd's emotional breakdown is becoming one of the strongest ongoing arcs this season, and the constant sense that the town is slowly closing in on everyone gives the story a tense atmosphere. While some character plots still feel frustrating at times, the larger mystery continues moving in a compelling direction. With the season approaching its halfway point, it feels like the show is building towards something massive. The cycle is repeating, fear is spreading, and the man in yellow appears closer than ever to unleashing chaos on the town once again.